we are at Slush in Finland, the biggest startup event in Europe. And yeah, we just thought we record this quick episode about our. It's the second day, so we've seen something, and we just wanted to talk about it, and you guys just watch along.
BotTalk podcast.
So it is your first Slash. What is kind of your first impression?
I mean, the first impression is like very inspiring. Like it's very dark here inside, but they have like lots of lights, so it's like a really special atmosphere, I would say, and also like how the stages are like promoted on like when it's a new new guests are coming. This is like really special, I would say, and I never saw it before in any other event actually.
Yeah, totally. And in terms of like news, it also I think is the first time that you are pitching in front of a bigger audience. So you were pitching yesterday. It was already the whole stress is already back then. But what can you tell about your first pitching experience?
So I was very nervous. I mean, but I think everyone can understand when it's like your first time pitching, and it's also like in English, so it's not my native language. And when you're always like having it the first time and like also like in foreign language, then it's like a more stressful situation for you. So I try to prepare my best, but it's always when you're then in the situation, then it's like you normally act like completely differently. So I had like my perfect plan in my mind, what I want to do and to say, and of course I did it completely different. But I think it was okay. I'm still like, you always have like some capacity to improve yourself and to go a bit further. But I mean, when you just like do it several times, then you're getting more like comfortable with the situation, because like we had also like this little timer in front of me, and this was like really pressuring me because I always want to like hold the deadline and take the time, and then it was like, okay, shit, I need to hurry up, and always have a look on the time that is like fitting, and then it's like more of an unnatural like time pressure situation, I would say. So
well, I can say you did great. It was a great pitch. I really liked it, and I think the general feedback was also very positive. People understood what our product is, which is the main thing. And we talked yesterday about it, and I think it would be nice if we could dive deeper into the subject of comparing ourselves with other startups, and also looking at what others are doing. What is your take on that? Is it what do you feel when you talk to several startups? What is your general like feeling?
First, so here at Slush are like very lots of startups from all of Europe. So every country has like the little stage here, which is like very cool. Then you're getting in contact with very different nationalities and different startups actually. But I think that we ourselves told us that we always like underestimate actually what we achieved in 1 year and what we are like handling actually, because you're always like super self-critical. So for me personally, I'm very self-critical also with my pitch, and also like when we now like see our development from our startup, it's always okay, you achieved a lot, but there's always like a way you can do better, and there's still development to do. But it's like very interesting to see like different startups where they're in like a stage like way more earlier than we are, and then to compare it actually that what we are doing and in which stage we are at so now after this year is like pretty good, and then you can also like just giving some credits back to yourself, because you're always like in a very virtual, so we have like a digital product, and then you actually didn't see after every workday the result of it. So it's like every virtual, and then it's like pretty nice. Now you can get some credits back and say, okay, now really done a good job this year.
Yeah, definitely. That's the same feeling I had also. Even smaller things like I'm not good at organizing stuff, So I was pretty nervous when we missed the deadline for the tickets, and then we bought the tickets in the last minute, and so on and so forth. And then in the last minute, I had to like schedule these meetings with VCs and other investors. And I was thinking, well, I have like around 10 meetings, and it's such a low number to come all the way from Hamburg to Helsinki and so on. And then you talk to other people who don't get any meetings at all, and they say, wow, actually I'm doing pretty well. So I think this is a kind of reality check also helps, and also to talk openly. That's what I love about Slush. The side event that we were on yesterday, the Belgian beer night. So first of all, the beer was amazing, but of course, just to talk with founders eye to eye and see, okay, I have the same problem, and then you having the same problem, and those are like not some kind of which marketing thing that you do, but very, very difficult, like personal kind of things, and to be able to share it and say, wow, okay, I'm not fighting this fight alone, is also very great. And I think that's what I love about Slush, those sides events and people sharing, and I think generally also what I value, and also what I value about our podcast, to be honest, is that we talked about it as well, that usually you think about a founder as a person who talks a lot of nonsense, trying to pimp himself or herself to the skies with the achievements and so on. And what I think what we had achieved this year with this podcast, and also what I see here in the scenes in Europe, in the startup scene in Europe, is that everyone is very down to earth. When we discuss stuff, it's like very, very, there is no bullshit that we are discussing, and I love it very much.
Yeah, that's right. So you said that you had lots of VCs meeting, and I think the most of a lot of the startups who coming here are they're coming because of the VCs, because they planning to have a Series A or B or something, getting the first contact with the VCs. Maybe you can share some insights, because you had 10 meetings, which is very much as we experienced. So how do you think that you're getting that much appointments, especially, and how do you experience the role?
Well, to be honest, the meetings that I get are the people that I met in my previous life, either in the previous years, or I know someone who knows someone, and so on and so forth. So the first advice I would give to myself, when I started, I met 0 VCs. Now it's a lot, but don't be hard on yourself when you don't get the meetings, because you have to understand this game from their perspective. They're getting thousands of requests, each one, and from the startups that have no connection to the actual industries they're investing. So when you don't even get a decline meeting, it's the reason why it's just so much noise. They cannot decline you even. So that's the reality. Everyone is trying to grab them. In terms of meetings, well, VC meetings are usually very short. They try to be very concise with the time. It's about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and the meetings that we get here usually is nothing with the slides. So don't bother bringing a slide deck or whatever. They just want to learn from you, and just to get a general idea, because they all know what the answers they need to ask, what the questions they need to ask, and they just want to know maybe how passionate you are about your goal, maybe your interesting twist on the use case that you're using, and do you understand to whom are you selling? Do you have this ideal customer profile in mind, and very mundane stuff what is your monthly revenue, what is your runway, and basically now everyone is asking, when are you going to be cash positive?
Yeah, I can imagine. So I met at the Belgisch Beer Night yesterday also an investment manager from VC, and she told me that she had like such a stressful day. She didn't have any time to get lunch because she had so many appointments that it's always just like 50 minutes next. So it's like pretty good for them to get to know like lots of startups here, which is like high potential. But she also said like, yeah, because there are so many startups which are requesting for an appointment, it's like very hard to handle, and you, of course, you need to make a focus actually. So they were like focused in their fund, which was good for her, she said, because other VCs which are like very broad and like accept especially like every meeting feels like, because they're hearing from very different startups, and then it's like more complicated to actually find like a good investment for them. I mean, they're always like searching for the best opportunity for them actually.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm gonna do like in December when we're back and when we have some discretionary time is I'm just gonna go back to the platform, and all the meetings that I didn't get, I'm gonna find those people on LinkedIn and write them, because after the Slush they're gonna have more time, and they're gonna work on the Slush applications or on documenting their meetings anyway. So it's a good idea just to write them and say, we didn't get a chance to meet during Slush. Could you consider looking at my deck? This is something that we could always do. So.
Yeah, this I think is a pretty good idea, because they're like still in the loop from the Slush and they're like working on it, and it's not like too far away. I think it's like after this event now they have for sure like 1 or 2 months like work now and validate everything, and then it's like still like kind of fresh actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in terms of, I think it's my second Slush, so I can compare. This year it is significantly smaller, I should say. So last year without the downturn, without the recession, you could see like even great big booth from companies such as Notion. It's like from startups, and they had their own booth with their own schedule. So the Notion marketing people and product people and so on. Now even the Google stage is pretty little. The Amazon stage is super small. So even like the big companies, like very little stages, and you could really feel the recession or the downturn. But I think also it's a great talks. I think that we are so far experiencing. What was your favorite quotes that you heard during the talks? What kept your mind?
I think it's like pretty hard to say, because we have heard like a lots of interesting information actually, but like we just went to like the Vimeo guy, and he also said like the most important thing is like have a look on the budget, that you're not running out of money. And I think we heard it like a lot of time, but it's always good to get remembered, and that you like be really careful with your like budgeting, because this is actually like the most important point. If you have like a very good product and like good like making lots of experiments in your team, and also have like first paying customers and everything, it always comes down to the numbers actually. And I think this is underestimated for some startups when they're coming here and they have like a really nice idea, but they actually didn't know how to like run a company and budgeting and everything. So this is just like just underlying skills, I would say, which are very, very important, and you always have to, if you don't like really good in it, you still need to work on it, because this is like the most important point when you're gonna want like to build a very successful company actually.
Yeah, I also liked another point of him is when he talked about being really focused on what your vision is, and look at the departments and see if what they're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and does it really matter? An example was really great, because that is my total experience from like bigger companies, is that there are a lot of, there's just a lot of waste. And we noticed it even in our company. That's why we did this, the whole relaunch in the middle of the year as well. Just, to look at the people and say, you all doing a great job, but is it what you're doing really matters? And that's what I think, to hear those things, looking at the budget, looking at the, what matters, to hear the things from people like, the president of Vimeo is, great. It's just a great also support that, for yourself, like, okay, we seem to be knowing what we're doing, or at least on the, like, intuitively know where to go to. So
it's given you the feeling that you're on the right track and not just like swimming and try to figure everything out actually.
Yeah, definitely. And I also liked the talk yesterday. I don't remember exactly who it was, but the idea was how not to become how to grow, but not to become actually, the disaster you are running from. So each founder is running from this big corporation that he quits and he wants to create a new company with a new spirit. And but because you were working all the time with this, in a completely different environment, when the problems arise, then you react the old way. And so so his example, they're building a application like a mobile banking stuff, and their appeal was, okay, banking is broken, it's so complicated to open and to open an account, it's so especially a business account, it's so complicated to transfer money. And so we're gonna streamline everything. We're gonna be completely different. It's going to be very easy to open and so on. And then they launch, and then there are 50 people, and then there are 100 people, and so on. And then they get feedback on the social media and so on and so forth. I cannot open. There are too many documents. My transfer gets 2 weeks to process, and so on. So this founder is looking like, why? We were running from this, and we're doing, and what he told, what his insight is actually, what I'm trying to say is, his insight is, okay, you have only two ways to kind of react, and the first way, intuitive way, is like command and conquer. It's what you learned as a manager in a big corporation. You need to take matters at your hands. Let's collect a meeting. Let's shout. Let's say why. Who is responsible for such a? And this is one thing that people tend to do. Okay, I'm going to be. And the other thing is to analyze the problem structurally and say, okay, how did it come to the things that we are now so inefficient, or we are now producing the same kind of results that we didn't want to produce. And he's really the example that, the second approach is they went into their current product sprints kind of planning. And so they have, for every feature, they had a sheet with product feature description, what it's supposed to bring, the assumptions, and then this is what is going to matter in KPIs. So this is our assumption. So very detailed sheet, which we are trying to achieve, for example. And then they looked at every kind of the sheets, and then they looked at the final products. So everything was there, and so on and so forth. So and he said, and then we realized, wow, this is bullshit, because we're looking at this very prepared, KPI-driven product design, and then I look at the final product, and the feature is let customers change their pins. Pin card. So perfect. And then I'm looking at this. I can change it, but after I change it, I can never look. What is my pin? There is no option to show me my pin. and it was like so obvious. So and they got huge results from this feature because everyone was changing their pins once and twice and 3 times, and he's like, why other people keep changing their pins? And then they realized, yeah, they don't remember, and the only way to remember is to change your pin. So to go back to it, Command and Conquer could is a nice approach, but maybe doesn't work if you want to build like a real good product or rather a real good team.
Yeah, also have like more like a problem solving mindset maybe. Then it's always more efficient that you can step forward than just like saying, okay, this is not good what you did actually.
In terms of overall like feeling, what is your feeling? You've seen several stages, you've seen several like talks. What can you tell more? About the whole kind of startup scene. It's very abstract.
I think it's very inspiring. So this is like actually my first real startup event. First, it's always I were in these accelerator programs. I'm meeting also like lots of entrepreneurs, but they were like normally like older than I especially accepted because I come from university and was like super convinced like all founders are young and motivated. They have like their visions and missions, and this was then completely different. But now here it's more mixed again. So yes, we have like super young founders and also like they are like more experienced and older, and this is like always like very interesting to see, and it's also like a good combination because then you can learn a lot from like the different people actually, which I found like very nice actually.
What is the main difference kind of, or what are the main like difference between like this normal conferences for like bigger companies and this conference? Good question. Let me start. I think for me it is like the fact, for example, that Slush is has been around for 10 years, but even it's very creative space right here. And the reason, one of the reasons, and it's changing all the time, but the whole concept, the light concept, and the like this a bit darker atmosphere, it stays. But they change they change up the location every time, and the reason for that, there is no bigger venue in the whole country in Finland than this one. So no matter how much you grow, you will not get a bigger venue. So this is what they are trying to always experiment with, and I think one of the biggest difference between, for example, Slush and OMR in Hamburg is it is very compact actually, and in OMR you are running from one hall to another hall to another hall to another, because OMR grew, but they grew by expansion. Take another hole, and this is a great difference. And I really love the how creatively because you could see like several levels sometime here. You could see how this is the stage behind where we're sitting, but at the same time there's like this areas very creative. Love it very much. It's completely different from the.
Yeah, that's right. And also like on this on the OMR or something, or I also were at the IBC in Amsterdam. I always have the feeling like for the companies it's more like promoting themselves. Mm-hmm. That's why they have like also like this very big booth and showing what they all can do. And here I have the best product and everything. And here we have like super small booth, and it's more like a collaborating space. So it's more like, okay, we have nice ideas and we're gonna exchange with other founders. They are all like in an early stage, and just like a few which are like bigger, and like we don't have any unicorns here. And that's why everyone is open to discuss like the startup from the others, and just exchange some ideas and supporting each other, which is like different to RBC, for example. For me.
So it is in the middle of the second day. What do we have left to do? What we're going to do now?
I think we can check out and see if there's some nice stage ongoing. I know that they're like the pitching competition from 100 startups, which could be interesting. So getting some ideas how they're making their pitch. That's always see something. Yeah, and for you?
I think I'm going to check out different booths for different countries, because we want to expand. So the Swiss and the French booths and so on and so forth, just to check out the possibilities that you can do. And I think it was very helpful yesterday that we talked, for example, to the European Commission, like a booth and investor fund from European Commission, and could understand straight away the maybe like a focus of this fund. And I think just talking to people and understanding, okay, will it fit us? I think is the best way. So that's what I'm going to do the rest of the day. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I hope you're getting some insights from here, and we'll love to see you the next time.